Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, introducing the CQG Toolkit for Excel. My name is Thom Hartle. I am CQG's Director of Product Training, and I'll be your host and presenter today. Before we get started, I want to mention a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during the webinar, please enter them into the Q&A section window at any time, and we'll answer the questions at the end of the presentation. If you are viewing the presentation in full screen mode, you can find Q&A in the WebEx toolbar at the top of your screen in the drop-down menu on the far right. If you're having any sound issues, please contact the host via WebEx chat. We'll be recording today's webinar, excuse me, and it will be posted within 48 hours to the events section on news.cqg.com. All registered attendees will receive an email with a link to the recording. So the basic agenda for today's webinar is I'm going to go over all the features and functionality of this new add-in that you can run with Microsoft Excel. And before that, I'll get started just a little bit about me. I've been in the business for over 30 years now. I was a broker at Merrill Lynch as well as a Vice President of Financial Futures at Drexel Burnham Lambert. There I serviced banks who were using financial futures to hedge their asset liability risk. Then I went to work for one of my banks as a fixed income trader. And then I was editor of Stocks and Commodities magazine for about 9 years, and I've been using CQG since 1984. CQG hired me about 10 years ago and relocated me down to here in Denver, and I've worked with both customers and coworkers. Okay, so the CQG Toolkit for Excel, what it is it's an add-in, and I'll show you in a moment where you can download it from our website. Now this does require an FCM partner to enable you for it. So you'd contact the FCM partner and say you want this, and they'll turn it on. And what it does, you'll get a username from them and a password. And this accesses market data and orders and positions data for today only. There's no historical information available. There's no moving averages or anything like that. It's just simply market data in your current orders and any open positions. What that also means is that as a market data, it has to be a market that you're unable to trade. So for example, you could not use this particular links to bring in, say, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, because that's a cash market. It's not a tradable market. So where I'll show you can download it. There's also an Excel spreadsheet already kind of set up with everything in it, so you can just kind of open that up and you'll quickly see how to use it. And I'll be reviewing that same sort of steps today. Then also I've built some quote board displays that you can download, some forward curve displays and calendar spread displays that will all run right out of the box. So I know that anybody who's here is probably a big fan of Excel. But just to quickly go over it, the thing about Excel is you can just pretty much do anything you want. You can color things the way you want them. You can bring in all the market information, and you can also do dynamic data ranking and sorting using various rankings such as VLOOKUP. And then there's pretty cool data visualization features such as heat mapping and data histogram bars. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip over to just share my desktop and actually show you where you can download these things. So 101. So here we are at the CQG homepage, and you can click on Products, and then it's right over here under CQG Toolkits. So we have both this new one, CQG Toolkit for Excel, and some description, and then a link to where it's posted on our website, Workspaces download. We also have some information about the RTD toolkit that you can install. And then we have a nice table here that compares the difference between using this new add-in and our RTD toolkit we've had around for a few years. So another way to find this is going back to the home page at CQG.com. You see down here towards the bottom, we have this link to CQG RTD and Excel. This takes you to our Workspace Downloads page where most of you, I'm sure, are familiar. I've probably got about 70 posts done for working with RTD, and right here, CQG Toolkit for Excel. So this is where you can get it and download it. And so I'll open this up. So in here is you can download the zip file, extract it, and then install it. And you can download this sample spreadsheet that I've built. Now, if you're not familiar with how, once you've installed an add-in, how to bring it up on your ribbon, there's a link here to an Excel support page that will walk you through the steps for that. And then this Excel spreadsheet, what you can see I've done here is I've already populated it with lots of information and gives you a quick look on how to do your stuff as a kind of a live help file. But I'm going to go over the same information for you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up Excel, and this is where it installs on my ribbon. And if you see, here's the groups of information we have. We have label data, which is information that you would see, say, in a quote spreadsheet. We have DOM data, depth of market data. We have accounts data, account summary, orders data. So now you can bring all your order information right into Excel. And we have your current open positions data. So this isn't like a program set up to create, say, a P&S statement for you. This is, again, just strictly today's market information, today's trading information. And this is not a toolkit for trading. This is market data, orders and positions data only. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'll go ahead and pop one open. I'm going to put, like, you can put in whatever symbol you want to do, or you can reference a cell. So let's say I put in here in the cell A1 EP. And then I'll come down here a little bit, and I'm going to link to that cell. So I've done that now. And then I'm just going to select all. And so this is the label data that you can bring in, tick size, things like that, open, high, low, close, bids and asks. And then you can also say insert the name of the columns. And so I'll do this. And it's going to start in A3 and populate over to the right. Now it's asking me for my username and password. And so you can see here now we have this market information and data label information. And so, let's see here, set to automatic. Okay, so more information we can also bring in is the DOM data. So let's say I use this same symbol here, and I just select all, and I can choose the number of queues. So I'll put it at 5. And so now it's, that data has just been brought in also for you. And then we'll go bring in account data. I'm going to go to a blank sheet just to kind of keep things separate. And then account data. Now you notice you don't put anything in this. This all you can choose whatever you want for information, but I'm just going to select all. And you can have as many accounts as you want. I only have 2, but this one right now is set at 15. But if you wanted to change that, you just unclick the lock and then hit add. And so I have, here's my account information. Oh, I forgot to, let me do this again. Put in the, okay, I'm going to have to blank this out. What the problem was there was already API calls in place, and so it would not overwrite them. This is an important thing to think about when you are bringing in order data. I recommend, and I'll show you in a second, use you have like a buy tab for buy orders and a sell tab for sell orders. So, okay, so now we can see the names of the information here. Next we have account summary. So now I need my account ID, so I'll go up here and just use this cell here and select all again, insert the names of the columns. I did it again. Let's do it over here. See, even though I only have 2 accounts, it basically set it up to have 15 accounts. So you get purchasing power, total margin, currency. My open trade equity right now is $900, and market value of options. Okay, so let's go over now and look at order data. And come down here a little bit. So you have different choices, all authorized, the account, sales, series, brokerage. I'm going to go with all authorized accounts. If not, if I chose one, then I'd have to put in the ID number of my account. And I'm going to pick the buy side. And we have all kinds of different information you can bring in transit, excuse me, rejected, choose whatever you want, but I'm just going to select all of those. And then down here I'll select all, and then add. And so these are the various orders for today. And so I'm going to expand this out a little bit. So you can see that I placed a buy order, and it was in transit, then it was acknowledged, and then I modified it, it was canceled and acknowledged with a new price in transit, acknowledged, canceled, and I have my fill prices over here, average fill prices, and the time of everything. So as you can see, I only placed a couple of trades, but there's a lot of information you can bring in. It would be very easy to quickly override information, so you want to be careful about that. That's why I recommend doing two tabs. So now we're going to look at that on the sell side. And so these are all the information about all the orders I had for the sell side. And then last we have positions data. I need my order ID. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to bring that over here. There's a link from this page. And then I go ahead and positions data. Order ID is here. Select all, insert names, and then it's showing me long 5 E-mini S&Ps and the fill price, and long 5 crude oil and the fill price. Now, because I'd already traded these same markets, it shows me what my realized profit and loss was for the day also. And you can use RTD calls if you wanted to get your current, say, open trade equity on these same markets. Or you could use the price here minus the last price and times the quantity and create your own syntax for that. So if you recall, I mentioned we have posted at the website all kinds of dashboards that you can download right now that will run with this toolkit. And yes, this is real-time information for this question about that's coming in. And so I'm going to now, even though you feel like there's not that much information as compared to, say, RTD can bring in for labeled market data, values and whatnot, I've built a number of spreadsheets that you can download and run right out of the box. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up some of those right now. These are, like I said, available. So this first one, and I've got this set on manual right now to not update because I think less likely there will be a problem with WebEx. So this is one you can download and use. It has a symbols tab. And you can go ahead and put in your symbols. And the way I set this up is it has stock index futures all along the top here. It has fixed income markets all along the bottom, FX rates all along the bottom, and then energy markets and precious metals. And this will dynamically rank throughout the day. It's showing you what's going on with the best markets and the weakest markets. And then over here, I have the same grouping in terms of along the top, and this is along the bottom here. This is this group, and this is this group of the energy. And so this is just today's market activity. And then, it's just a quick second glance, and I can see which markets are doing the best, such as at the time I open this up, the euro, British pound was the strongest, and crude light was the weakest. And you can see how the various stock indices around the world traded today relative to each other on a percentage basis. Here's another one that I built that you can post. It too has a symbols tab, so you can put in your own symbols. And so what I've done is you can see the bid and the ask and the last price, high, low, and the net change and the percent net change. You can change the titles for these groups if you want on the symbols tab. And then I've heat mapped the long descriptions so that your eyes go right to the ones that are, say, the strongest right now. In this case, it was wheat. It's the brightest green. And then down here, looks like orange juice was the weakest market. It was down 4.32%. And so those are examples of two dashboards that I built that run off of this add-in toolkit. And by the way, what this is doing is this toolkit accesses over the internet our WebAPI. And so that's what this is, similar to what our mobile product does. Then here's one for Eurodollars. I've got Eurodollar outrights here. I've got the 3-month calendar spreads, and I've got the 6-month calendar spreads, and they're all color-coded by their pack. And then, like, for example, if you're interested in tracking natural gas, say, calendar spreads, I have these set up for all the energy markets. And so this is set up as a matrix. So you have the outrights along the top and the outrights along the bottom here. And you can quickly see whatever calendar spread you want to look at. Plus, I'm plotting in real time the forward curve for the outrights as well as the 1 through 12-month calendar forward curves. And what this forward curve will do is at the current last trade, it'll display the last trade on this chart unless the last trade is outside the best bid and the best ask. If that occurs, then what I do is I take the median price between the best bid and the best ask. And then finally, here's an example of crude oil forward curves. So I have a dozen months here on the outrights, a dozen months of 1-month calendar spreads, and an example of 3-month calendar spreads. So again, and I have this for all the energy markets. So I'm going to now return back to our PowerPoint, and we've already gone over most of this. And so I'm not going to waste your time again. But we wanted to show you the information in real time. And so these are the examples of the dashboards I've already built. And here, this is where you can find more information, news.cqg.com, with the samples and the RTD studies, as well as the new toolkit ones. And then when I am having a problem not being able to find something with Excel, one of my favorite places to go is Mr. Excel, and that's a really popular forum, as well as searching YouTube videos. And then probably my 2 favorite sites for just some people who are really knowledgeable about Excel, PelletierTech.com as well as cpearson.com. Excel topics, you'll just see this big list of all these different things he's talked about. For example, that's where I learned how to do a better form of ranking than what comes standard with Excel, because Excel will assign ties a half, like 2.5 and 2.5. And you can't use VLOOKUP, you have to use whole integers and things like that. So that's going to be, I think this is Q&A time now. So I've got a couple of questions here I'll go ahead and ask outright. So yes, this is real-time data coming over the internet. You do not have to have your CQG IC running. You do not have to have QTrader running. But if you wanted to have market data, such as I said, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's not a tradable symbol. So you want to use a RTD link, and then you would have to have both those products running, or one of those products running. So you can get this information. The next question is, the symbols you're most interested in. As long as you're enabled to trade it through your FCM, then you can get that. This toolkit will access those symbols. So please, do you have any other questions? I don't. I don't know how the FCM is going to handle pricing on this. That's that's an FCM enablement. Well, you would. I've got a question about options pricing, and just one second here. Okay, we do have options on the Web API. So what you would do is, so it's very important that you get the option symbol exactly correct. So for example, I always recommend to people to use their option window in CQG and copy and paste to Excel. And I'll show you here on, going to go back to sharing again. I wrote an article about this. And so I want to share my monitor. So I'm going back to CQG. And I really recommend that you just browse through this from time to time because I post pretty regularly. Where did I miss it? Okay, it's on the next one. Okay, so on this one right here, you can see that I have shown you to copy to Excel, say the last price. And that way you'll know you'll get the correct symbol to use for with this toolkit. I don't know the answer to the question on this working with Excel on a Mac. I've not worked on with a Mac. And another question, I have live data and availability traded. I can use it in the sheet. Yes, exactly. So if you have, as long as you're enabled for those markets, they can pull the data in. No, this is a one-way. I've got a question here about linking from Excel to CQG for visualization on the CQG chart. Now, this is a one-way resource. We call information from CQG. We do not have the ability to route the information back to CQG. Okay, anybody else have any other questions? As I mentioned, once you download the zip file and extract it, if you don't know how to bring the add-in onto your toolbar or your ribbon, there's a link to a support, Microsoft Support Excel help file that will walk you through the steps of turning the add-in on. Okay, well, I think then we can go ahead and I want to say thank you for attending this webinar. I know that a lot of customers who use RTD have been requesting to get order data, so I think this is going to be pretty popular on that basis alone. And again, thank you for your time.